Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a team builder here for WBE Week 5. The Minnesota Vikavolts are taking on Patterrz and the Newcastle Nidokings, a battle of the Dans, of course. And it's been a while since I've done a team builder. I've kind of, I guess, taken a step away from the team builders a little bit, mostly due to just being busy or whatever it may be. A couple of my matches have been rescheduled to the last minute and so on and so forth. So I do try to do them, but I also understand that, or I hope you guys understand rather, that it's just not realistic for me, given my situation, to try to do one every week, with the baby being here legitimately any day. Like, this video could be up and I could be a dad officially. I have no idea. So it really could be any day at this point. But either way, yeah, so today, team builder, I'll break it down for you. If you're someone who loves the team builders and really appreciates them, be sure to show your love every week, man, because it really helps out. You know, so anyway, let's talk about his team. So he's 2-2, we're 2-2. Really want to win this one, man. A lot of the league is sitting at 2-2. We're all kind of bunched up in the middle early season here, and we played well. We got some bad luck in one game and kind of got beat in another and whatever else. So I feel like we've done okay though. Last week against Kyle, he brought 6 Scarfers. That was pretty crazy. If you haven't seen that match, go check it out. So anyway, Patterrz is a Salamence here, which is a, he's got 3 Intimidators first and foremost: Salamence, Arcanine, and Crocodile, and that's going to be a core piece of our strategy. Salamence, of course, can Dragon Dance. It can be a special set. I wouldn't be surprised if he brought a special set against me, but I think he's going to bring Intimidate Mens, try to set up on me, maybe carry a Yachi Berry or something like that to set up on you know, Ninetales or whatever it may be. He's got the Slowbro, which starts a Regenerator core. It's actually his only regenerator, but Slowbro, really defensive water type Pokemon. Tremendous amount of bulk. Obviously Psyche and water. Regenerator healing it up. It can run Trick Room. It can be like offensive. I expect like a slack off set there. Arcanine, which also gets Intimidate or Flash Fire. He has no reason to run Flash Fire on this thing. I don't really have a fire type or really a lot of Pokemon that use fire type moves. So if we see Arcanine, it's definitely Intimidate. I expect like a Morning Sunset, maybe offensive with Wild Charge, Close Combat, Flare Blitz. But I feel like he goes a more defensive set because it stops things like ALOLA Ninetales really well. You know, Vikavolts, it can kind of stand up against Stack Attack offensively. He's got the Crocodile, which is really his only stealth rocker aside from Kecleon, so it's something to note. So if I see Crocodile, my objective this week, and it's kind of been the season, is keep Rocks off the field but get him up against him. And it's really going to depend on team preview, because Rocks are super good against his Salamence, his Arcanine, his Tornadus, but they're also good against my team, so I really have to play that lead matchup really well to kind of get the momentum early game. But Crocodile, most likely, if it comes, does have Stealth Rocks. I could see him bringing a Choice Scarf variant, but I think he's got better Choice Scarfers on the team against me. But otherwise, I do see Crook coming. There's a chance he leaves it off, though. There is a chance he leaves it off, but I feel like me having like a Drapion, Reuniclus, things like that, he kind of almost has to bring it. Alolan Raichu, which is actually really scary. I hope he doesn't bring like a Surge Surfer set with Electric Terrain, because that could be really detrimental. But I do feel like there's a chance for like a Nasty Plot set, or, you know, Psychic or Psyshock, and then, you know, Thunderbolt, maybe Volt Switch. Could bring like an AV set, I could see potentially, or just like, you know, an offensive set, because it kind of checks a couple things. He might want to bring HP Ice though for Landorus, so he may have to try to fit that on there. He's got the Cryogonal, which is pretty fast, 105 base speed. It's got very low defense, but very hard hitting on the special side otherwise, and very especially bulky. It's a good Rapid Spinner, can defog as well. It's really his only hazard remover that's reliable. Like, he does have Tornadus, he does have you know, Rabombi, but generally his most reliable hazard remover is that Cryogonal. Mega Venusaur, incredibly bulky, obviously, with that thick fat, which boosts its you know, resistance to fire and ice type moves. Very strong. In this matchup, I feel like he brings Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Earthquake, and maybe Leech Seed or Synthesis or Knockoff or something like that. I do feel like Earthquake is kind of necessary though on his Venusaur if he brings it, because it allows him to hit the Drapion, allows him to hit the Stack Attacka. He's got to bring Earthquake or HP Ground or something, because otherwise things like Stack Attack kind of rip through him. Lucario, very scary Pokemon, honestly. It can be physical, it can be special. It's got a tremendous amount of priority. Obviously, Bullet Punch, Vacuum Wave, Extreme Speed. He could be a Nasty Plot set, he could be a SD set, he could be mixed, he could do a lot of different things with that Lucario. It's his best kind of user of Phytinium Z as well, so a lot of factors there that make Lucario very scary for my team. He's got the Rabombi, which can set up sticky webs and generally just Quiver Dance, maybe with a Focus Sash or something like that. Rabombi is a little bit annoying, but at the same time, like I said, unless he's Quiver Dancing, he's not that scary, and unless he's coverage for like Empoleon and stuff, he's not that scary generally. And you know, if he sets up sticky webs, it's really not a big deal for my team. which is something I like about this team, is sticky webs don't really bother me that much. He's got Tornadus, which is something I'm using in P4G. It's a beast in the rain, but otherwise it's okay. Like, it's a good U-turner. It can run taunt, prankster, things like that. It can remove hazards, which is nice, but it is weak to hazards. He can run like Heat Wave or Iron Tail or something like that if he wants to catch my Ninetales off guard. And then last but not least is his Kecleon, which obviously has protein, so it can change its typing around and hit things pretty hard with that. If he brings Kecleon, I'll be really surprised, just because I feel like power-wise it's not as strong as the other stuff, but it would really mess up my strategy this week if he does bring Kecleon, so that's something we have to kind of keep in mind. And then again, Fightinium Z is just something that he's got as an option for his Z moves, which really are gonna, you know, Brick Break on Salamence, you know, Close Combat on Arcanine, you know, Lucario primarily being the user of that, and actually Tornadus with like superpower. So let's talk about our team and kind of our core strategy this week. We've got our ALOLA Ninetales kicking things off. It's a bulky ALOLA Ninetales set with enough speed for Cryogonal, basically. Moonblast, Blizzard, it's pretty straightforward. Aurora Veil is really important with Light Clay to get 8 turns of Veil, and then Toxic for switch-ins like Slowbro or Arcanine. Obviously, if he switch-ins Venusaur, well, that's a bummer, but I can wear down the other things. Everything besides Venusaur basically with Toxic, which is really nice, and I guess Lucario, but Lucario is not really a good switch into this thing. So pretty straightforward, just get that Aurora Veil up and kind of benefit from the 8 turns of having Veil up. We've got our Landorus-T in here, which has gotten off to a slow start, my first pick overall, but this week we're bringing a offensive set, but it's more of a team kind of offensive set. Pivot, you know, he's got Stealth Rock, which is super important. This very well may be my lead against him, depending on the team I see. Knockoff is really nice just to remove items. U-turn and Earthquake, U-turn for Momentum. Earthquake hits really hard. We are max attack adamant. I've got the Yachi Berry there to ensure 1, I can get my rocks up, and 2, I can potentially take a hit from Raichu and one-shot it. I could potentially take a hit from Lucario and one-shot it. So it's kind of a tech option there for mid-late game. One of our win conditions here is Nuke, who has been our MVP so far this season, leads the team with 7 kills. Psyshock, Focus Blast, Trick Room, Signal Beam. I actually like running Signal Beam in this situation over Shadow Ball because even though it's a little bit less power, it has better coverage. So if I ran Shadow Ball, it'd be good against things like, you know, Slowbro and Raichu and stuff like that. But then I would have to rely on Focus Blast to hit things like Crocodile, whereas now with Signal Beam, I can use Signal Beam to hit Crocodile instead. So instead of missing a Focus Blast if he's like whittled down, you know? If I have to go for the KO, then we Focus Blast and we risk that. But otherwise, Signal Beam is a really good kind of middle ground play that allows me to potentially remove some of the risk of missing. Psyshock obviously just kind of rips through his team, and again, Trick Room with the Life Orb, Magic Guard, max special attack, max HP, so we're very, very bulky. We got a lot of offensive investment maxed out, and you know, this thing, the job is whittle the team down, get rocks up, whittle his team down, and then find my opening, under Veil preferably, but I send in Reuniclus to set up Trick Room, and then I hopefully sweep the team like we did last week. We've got our Empoleon here, which is bringing the heat this week, man. I wanted to start to bring a little bit of heat this season. It is a fun league, so let's do it up, man. We got a Broside in here, kicking the Broshin, rocking the Adamant, Defiant, Weakness Policy. I mentioned he has 3 Intimidators, Salamence, Arcanine, and Crocodile, all of which we're likely going to bring that Intimidate. Intimidate boosts my attack. I go down 1 stage and then up 2 stages. Sticky Web also increases my attack by 2 stages. And Weakness Policy, if I get hit by a super effective hit, I'm going to boost my attack and special attack by 2 stages. So what that means is I have agility there. The objective here is we agility up on something like a Venusaur, it hits me with an Earthquake, and then I proceed to wreck his team with things like Power Trip, Ice Beams, Liquidations, etc. Power Trip after Weakness Policy and agility does 2-shot Venusaur, which is really, really nice. Liquidation obviously just bodies a lot of his team, especially after Defiant or Weakness Policy boost. And then Ice Beam is there for Salamence, even though I'm adamant, +2 Ice Beam does 1-shot Salamence. So especially after rocks, and it's just a really good move in general to help me cover that Salamence issue. So pretty crazy set here. I don't know if it's gonna work. Like I said, there's a lot of, he's definitely gonna have Earthquake and stuff on different Pokemon. And if I can live a hit with Brosidon and be able to get that Weakness Policy up and an agility up, there's a really good chance we can put in a lot of work. Maybe not sweep, but at least put in a tremendous amount of work. At worst case scenario, I mean, we get the boost with Weakness or Defiant, and we can put some pressure on his team that way as well. So Slowbro's not going to expect Power Trip. You know, I can set up on that thing, set up some agilities. What is Slowbro going to do to me? He's going to Scald me. Okay, that's fine. Like, I mean, maybe he gets a Scald Burn. Maybe he tries to, you know, maybe he's carrying Thunderbolts or whatever, but it's not going to do a tremendous amount. So I hopefully can set up on it. And then, like I said, get some Power Trips off, which are going to really, I think, catch him off guard. So that's my hope. This may work. It may not work. I don't know. We're going to find out, but I think it's a cool set either way. We've got our Vikavolt here, which is Modest, Levitate, Leftovers. Pretty similar to what I've been bringing this season. Volt Switch, Bug Buzz, Discharge, and Roost. This may be my lead. If I don't lead Landorus, I'm leading Vikavolt, and that's to keep him from getting rocks up with his Crocodile. If he leads Crocodile, I obviously pressure it with Bug Buzz and one-shot it. So he either chooses, do I get rocks up and lose Crocodile, or do I just switch out into something like Arcanine or, you know, Venusaur or whatever. So I think that that's going to be pretty solid there. But this thing is really good against him. The problem I found with Vikavolt this season, it's been so good in prep, and it's been so good in the matches, it just gets whittled down by Stealth Rock so much, and it's really hard to work around that. I mean, the way I work around that is by running defensive Empoleon basically with Defog, but I've been trying to mix things up a little bit. But either way, I think this set is really good against him. And Discharge I added on over Thunderbolt kind of last minute because I felt like some of the paras on stuff like Venusaur, like Salamence, even like Arcanine switching in could be really, really useful for this team. Potentially paralyzing things could really open the door for something else if I get a full para. And then last but not least is going to be Shrimp here, our Mega Gyarados, rocking Adamant. Gyarados, we're slow Gyarados again this week, basically gonna outspeed Tornadus. Scarfers are gonna outspeed us, that's just kind of the nature of the game here. But Ice Fang, Dragon Dance, Waterfall Crunch. I was gonna bring Avalanche on this set because at +1, Avalanche does one-shot Venusaur because Mold Breaker, Mega Gyarados' ability, Mold Breaker does ignore Venusaur's Thick Fat. But I opted to go with Ice Fang because in testing I felt like Avalanche, as cool as it was, it forces you to take a hit first. And if you don't take a hit, it doesn't get the double damage. So if he like went for Leech Seed on me or something, then I'm not actually doing that much to him. And I feel like it's likely that his way to deal with Gyarados is to switch into his Intimidators. So I kind of have to be prepared for that. So, you know, I really felt like Ice Fang was a little bit more immediate. It does a little bit more than Crunch, and obviously has that flinch chance. So I figure, you know what? It's worth bringing. I don't really feel like Sub or Taunt is going to work that well this week. So I felt like this was the best set. So we'll see how that goes, but it definitely pressures a lot of things if I can get it in. So if I can Volt Switch or U-turn into this thing and rocks are not up, this thing really pressures him again, but he's kind of forced into his Intimidators, I think, to try to slow this thing down. But nevertheless, it should be able to put in a lot of work. So that's our squad there. I think we have a good chance to win this game, but I think it's going to be tough. And again, he's got some wild card Pokemon that are going to be very difficult for me to deal with, like his Lucario, like that Kecleon. If he brings it, could be really annoying. Stealth Rock, Ice Punch, knockoff, you know, Shadow Sneaker, Sucker Punch could be really annoying. So I got to be really careful there because that thing could be really difficult for me to take down, especially if like, you know, Reuniclus isn't able to beat it or whatever it may be, because he can be pretty bulky, especially with an AV. So, but yeah, that's going to be our team, guys. I'm excited for this match. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe for a new match will go up tomorrow. That's gonna be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace. Thanks so much for checking out my last video. If you like that one, you'll definitely like this one. And be sure to subscribe for more as I post Pokemon videos every single day.